Hey, what's going on, guys? Banana156 here with another video. Remember to like, dislike, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. Make sure to leave a comment. I do read all of them. But yeah, so let's get right into the video. So this video will be on political theory and if you should read it or not. So political theory are like the works of Karl Marx, Lenin, Trotsky, all those guys. But yeah, they're the works of them, like Das Kapital, the German philosophy. I might seem kind of like a noob for not knowing this, but I don't know any of Lenin's books, which is kind of unfortunate. I should read them, but yeah, political theory is like Karl Marx's theory of crisis, which I actually did a paper on for one of my classes. But yeah, now political theory is a good thing, and it is good for you to understand the different. It's good for you to understand basic Marxian economics and have a firm grasp on it. So if anyone tests your beliefs, you have a firm grasp on what Marxian economics are and stuff like that. And it is good to read like Karl Marx's Critique of Capitalism, because it is very good, and he is right in most things except in the fact that he thought capitalism would fail because the interior contradictions would be too much. I don't think that, because of the existence of the welfare state, and if we implemented universal basic income, capitalism could go for a really long time. But yeah, it's really great to read Karl Marx's work. I've read quite a few of Karl Marx's work. I've read the Communist Manifesto. I'm like halfway through Das Kapital, the first one. I've read partway through the German philosophy. I've read Imperialism, the Final Stage of Capitalism by Vladimir Lenin, so I do know a Lenin book. But yeah, I have read a little bit of Karl Marx, and I have read one book by Lenin. And if you don't want to jump into those books because they're big and they're a little bit hard, but if you don't want to do that, a great piece to start with is Why Socialism by Albert Einstein, and it's just a great little article. It's not that long. But it's a great thing to get you introduced into socialism. And now I would recommend you stay away from the works of Mao, just because I don't like Mao. But I don't think you should read Mao because of how terrible of a leader he was, and how just terrible of a person he was. I wouldn't recommend reading Mao. I haven't, and I don't intend to. But yeah, reading Lenin and Marx is a good thing to do. And some Trotsky if you feel like it. Trotsky's not necessary though. But if you feel like reading Marx and Lenin, you should do it. But now the most important thing when it comes to theory, and where a lot of theory nerds fail, is theory is not the Bible. Theory is not like divine writing that has all the answers. It's not meant to be just taken for what it is, because the circumstances from which Karl Marx wrote his books and Lenin wrote his are very different to the circumstances now, so you have to be able to expand upon that and take what they mean, and some things they may have said may be wrong, like Marx saying that the best way to establish socialism is for the proletariat to is to control the state, which, no, I feel like you have to control the means of production first, because if you just switch the people in charge of the state, it'll be the same government, just with different people. Like, the Soviet Union was not a good place, and that's what they did. They just swapped leadership from the Tsar to the Communist Party. And it was worse, because the Soviet Union they didn't handle the revolution the right way. They needed to seize the means of production and then put pressure on the state through the means of production, and then take control of the state through having more money through the means of production. That's what you got to do. So Marx was wrong on that. But some, and mostly tankies, really quote literature by Marx and Lenin like it's like Catholics arguing about the Bible. It's like, oh, Psalm 3:6 said this, oh, but Leviticus 6:7 said that. It's like watching two theory nerds argue is literally that. It's just so, and it's not meant to be taken that way. because some things will be proven wrong and some things will be proven right. And you got to take it with somewhat of a grain of salt. Do read it and learn stuff from it, because it is valuable knowledge, and some of it is still very relevant today, and most of it is very good. But you can't be quoting it like it's the Bible, because everything is up for debate until it really happens and is proven to be true. And most of Marx's theories have held up over time. Some of them haven't, like he thought socialism isn't inevitable. It's not, because it's a constant fight, and it'll just be a cycle of fascism to normal capitalism forever until the planet dies. But you have to take it with a grain of salt, read it, and take in all the knowledge, and try to learn how to apply it to the real world. Like in Marx's theory of crisis, he states that there will be a recession every 10 to 15 years, which is true, and then you got to look for how that recession is coming next. Like right now, we have worse wealth inequality than France pre-revolution. And what's that a sign for? It's a sign for a really great recession that's going to happen. And on top of having really terrible wealth inequality, there's also a pandemic which worsened it extensively. So now it's just going to create a massive recession near probably the depression of the 1930s. So yeah, you got to and like the recession of 2008, we're on time for another recession, and it's happening. So like Marx said, and you can use some Marxian economics to predict the future in economics. It's just what happens. And this is also called the business cycle, and it's a thing that is within capitalism, and capitalists are okay with. But it doesn't have to be, and that was Marx's whole argument. But yeah, do read theory. It is good to read. Just remember, don't quote it like the Bible. It is not divine literature. It is just some very smart philosophers and economists coming up with their theories about the world. And some of them were right, some of them were wrong. But yeah, it is valuable knowledge, so do read it if you can. But it's not necessary. I don't want to gatekeep the left because you haven't read theory. You can be a leftist without reading theory. It's not the most important thing. It is good if you want to have a broader understanding of leftism and socialism, but not necessary. You can be a leftist without reading theory, like I was for quite some time. But yeah. So yeah, to read political theory if you want. If you don't have to, it's not necessary. And make sure to not take it completely to heart, because it might be wrong. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Remember to like, dislike, comment, subscribe. Make sure to leave a comment. I do read all comments, so yeah, make sure to leave one. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I love making videos, so even if I don't get views, I still love it. But yeah, I just wanted to include that, and I enjoy making political theory videos, and if you want to see more in the future, like the video. And yeah, I guess I'll see you guys